What's up, everyone? Coach D speaks with the MeidasTouch Network. You know, the more and more I look at today's Republican Party, I realize that people who support the likes of Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Carrie Lake, Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and a host of other far-right Republicans are either ignorant or they have fully embraced their bigotry and racism. And what's telling of this is that the politicians I named proudly articulate their bigotry and racism in front of crowds of Republicans daily. They are happily vocal about banning Black history and making life dangerous and miserable for people of color and people in the LGBTQ community. So either these people who support them are too ignorant to see this obvious bigotry and racism, or they love it. And I tend to think it's the latter. For example, the new hero of the racist element of right-wing Republicans is Daniel Penny, a man who was recently indicted for manslaughter charges after choking out a homeless man on a subway train. He has now become the go-to for Ron DeSantis to garner up applause and support during his speaking tour that we all know is a presidential campaign. He recently said this.
I think to be able to step in as a good Samaritan and protect people, I think that that's something that was the right thing to do.
Daniel Perry was not protecting anyone because Jordan Neely hadn't put his hands on anyone on that subway train. The man was yelling about being hungry and being homeless, and Daniel Penny saw it as an opportunity to be the hero that no one needed and no one asked for. The people saying that Jordan Neely deserved to be choked out for yelling in a subway don't believe Ashley Babbitt should have been shot for illegally breaching the Capitol and jumping through a window with the intent of doing harm to elected officials. And the reason they're defending Daniel Penny is because he is a white man who choked out and killed a Black man. That is it. End of story. It's the same reason Greg Abbott has been trying to pardon Daniel Perry.
And I don't think he should be prosecuted. I think you have a prosecutor there that sides with the criminal element over law-abiding citizens.
If yelling in a subway is illegal, let the punishment fit the crime. Daniel Penny is not a law-abiding citizen. While Jordan Neely was yelling, Daniel Penny came up from behind him and put him in a chokehold for 4 minutes. During those 4 minutes, people were yelling, "Let him go, you're gonna kill him." Daniel Penny decided not to let him go. And even if the chokehold would have been warranted, which it wasn't, anyone who has taken any type of combat fighting or jujitsu knows that when your subject's body becomes limp, you need to let them go. Daniel Penny held Jordan Neely in a chokehold for 50 seconds after his body was obviously limp. This is not the actions of a law-abiding citizen.
And when people have the temerity to fight back against the criminal element, he goes after them. And so hopefully with him raising all this money, he's going to be able to beat this case. I hope the charges are dropped, but if they're not, I think he's going to be able to win in the end.
The temerity to fight back against the criminal element. Let me remind you that Jordan Neely was yelling in a subway train and ended up dead, and Ron DeSantis is defending the person who killed him. This is from the party who are trying to have the January 6th traitors released from prison. And do people not understand what this is saying about how much the Republican Party doesn't value Black lives? This is the leader of the Republican Party telling his supporters that a Black man yelling on a subway who is dealing with trauma from the death of his mother deserves to die. This will release vigilantism from far-right extremists like we've never seen before. This is why my call to action is for us to rally and never allow these people to hold public office. We need to make sure their reach becomes small to non-existent. We need to make sure that people like Ron DeSantis never feel comfortable displaying their bigotry and racism in front of a crowd of people. My call to action is to get people registered to vote. Take people to the polls. Volunteer in your local communities to vote the extremists out and force Republicans to elect people who actually value life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Period.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.